our call. We have been so busy pivoting that it's been hard to get the call in because of the constant changes. But I am
Yes.
Kirsten Womack of Move with Mac, and this is my friend Erica of Finding Erica.
Yes, and we are so happy that you guys are tuning in to hang out with us tonight. Like Kirsten said, it's been busy, especially since the summer has got up and running. So, talking about pivoting, I think we both can are living proof that we're doing this in June instead of May. That some pivoting took place.
Exactly. And for me, a whole bunch of pivoting started back in April.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
March, actually, we had relatives pass away, friends pass away, because we are actually supposed to be, no, we're not supposed to be. Our plan was to be in California right now, but we
Oh,
left Vegas and headed back to the East Coast so we could support a friend whose husband had passed away. And then we got a call from Mr. Womack's doctor and said, everything that's going on with the VA, you have an appointment. I suggest you not miss it. So
yeah.
we pivoted once again with our plans and headed to Florida. So,
Well, yeah,
you know,
pivoting and plans. Boy, I tell you, like everybody know, not too long ago, I got hurt, and that pivoted some plans. We were supposed to go to Maine, and that got pivoted, and we ended up being in Ohio a lot longer than I had anticipated. Come October, it will be a year, and I was not that. You know how hard that is for an RVer to be stuck someplace for a year. And then
yes.
I went back to the doctor because I wasn't getting any better. Another pivot. He was like, "You're not going to get any better. Your leg is just going to keep swelling. You need surgery and you're going to be out of commission for 3 months." And I was like, "Financially, we can't afford for me to be out of work for 3 months." And he was like, "Well, I had a birthday." So he was like, 48 year old you, 55 you is going to hate 48-year-old you. He was like, because if you put this off, we're going to end up having to infuse the bone to the foot because
Oh,
it's spreading like this. So a lot of things that I was able to do, I just can't do anymore. Like I can't wear a shoe all day long. So
oh, wow.
it's been some true pivoting taking place, and life has become very different because even walking, like a I walk off kiltered, right? It's like I'm always feeling like I'm off balance. And oh my goodness. So we understand about pivoting, right?
Right.
And so we wanted to talk about that tonight, and we'll keep an eye on the chat.
Okay.
Um and it is very hard to think of life keep changing. Like going with the changes, like having to keep re-evolving and going on. So I know that you said you had a death in the family. I mean, a death, a friend passing away, trying to pivot your plans and go to another place. So how has things been thus far?
We're still pivoting. The transmission on our truck went out
Oh,
while we were in
oh,
Georgia, actually. So we towed it back to Florida to the dealership, and we had very little communication with the dealership. So we had to keep popping in to find out what was going on, and basically, no parts, no
oh,
parts, no parts. So 30 days went by, and we talked to them, and they actually purchased the truck back, which is unusual and a good thing. So now we are riding our e bikes because we've challenged ourselves. We're like, okay, how long are we going to be able to do this with no transportation? And it's actually
yeah,
working because we mostly camp on military bases. And we are right now, we are at Redstone Arsenal, which is an Army facility in Huntsville, Alabama. And the RV park, it takes us longer to get the key in our bike, get the bike turned on, get it turned
yeah,
around, and get on it than it does to get to the commissary or the exchange or any place that we really want to be. So, this is a good place to be. And that was one of the things that we had to figure out. What bases are we going to be close to a gate in case we want to walk out and catch a Uber? and be able to go to the commissary and not have to unplug the RV and all that. So we first, when we left Patrick down in Cocoa Beach, we went to Jacksonville Naz, which that worked out really good. That was close to the commissary and everything, but it was not close to the gate. But they have an awesome camp host, Miss Rachel, and she said if we ever really needed to go anywhere, she would take us or we could use her car. So we were
That's
there.
fantastic.
Yes, we were there a couple days, about a week, I think, and then we came here, and we will be here. The reason we came here is because we have a vacation planned with our kids in Gatlinburg. So we're going to be renting a car because we've already rented a cabin up there for us to all stay in as a family and enjoy next week. So
Oh,
the
that's so
pivot
cool. You're going to be
continues.
heading towards almost towards my neck of the woods from Nashville. Me and Cedric stayed in Gatlinburg. We stayed at one of the state parks. I even did a video of the campground review at one of the state parks up there, and I really enjoyed it because it was only like $27, and it was
Oh,
electric
wow,
cooktop.
that's a
So
good rate.
yeah, it was really nice. Even though you had to drive like 30 minutes into the city, it was still decent. And so, and I wanted to tell you something. It's not about pivoting, but I just wanted to tell you something. We checked out that park you recommended, Sterling,
Yes.
up in Michigan.
Uh huh.
Oh my goodness. And the water's like right there. They have some great spots. So we're going to actually go back up and camp.
Okay, cool.
Gone far away. It's like a few steps from the campground. So thank you so much for that recommendation. It was really really nice. The only bad side is there's no trees, so
Right.
you're like out in the element and the heat there the
Yeah.
whole entire time. And we got 5 people watching this video. Please make sure that each one of you give us a thumbs up and let us know where you are, where you at right now in the chat. Let us know that you're here, so make sure you leave a thumbs up. I know that pivoting for me this summer is that I'm a lot more stationary than I wanted to be, but I'm trying to find a way to kind of be a tourist in the area of where I'm at. So I've been working on it. And one of the things I try not to do, how I am achieving those things. So kind of sitting back and reevaluating how to restructure what you have going on. And I think like you had to pivot your plans, your direction, what it is that you're choosing to do, how you're choosing to get around. And me, I'm trying to pivot life in general because with my foot, it's like your foot affects everything. So we
Yes.
tried to go on a walk and like a quarter mile in, I had to like give it up
You
because
need a
it
little
was like
scooter, one of those scooters you can
it was
sit
getting
on.
painful to the touch. It was getting
Oh, right. Yeah.
part of the world. So I'm torn. If I got surgery now, I wouldn't be healed in time enough to like take a flight. So a lot of things have been happening where you're just trying to figure out how to pivot. And so
Yeah.
that's when you just kind of take a deep breath.
And this is the part of not just RV life, but life in general.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so the best thing to do is just keep it moving forward and do what you need to do. But I want you to really think about getting your surgery because you do not want to get over in that country and have that snap, or you know what I'm saying?
Broken to miss the opportunity, but at the same time I'm thinking about that too. So you guys be praying with me, because
Yes.
I really would like to do this as an opportunity of a lifetime that I feel like I would regret if I didn't take it. And so it's just one of those things where I'm just trying to figure it out. um I want to acknowledge the chat kind of going off a little bit. I'm not quite sure if this is a spammer in here. West her as well. And you and I talked about that on
Mhm.
our last broadcast. So that is a huge pivot for lots of RVers. And I'm going to say that because here in the RV park where we are now, a guy was getting up on his roof to check something. I don't know what he was checking, but he was coming down the ladder off the back, and he thought he was stepping on the bumper, and he missed the step and broke his ankle. And he vacation over. They rushed him
Yeah.
to the hospital. He's got a broke ankle. He's got to get almost the same surgery I had to get.
Oh, wow.
Wife had to find somebody to come up and drive the RV, the fifth wheel, like help her hook it
Mhm.
up and everything. And they had to turn around and go back home. Right.
Right.
I get phone calls all the time with people saying they just got sick and they thought they were going to be able to make it out this way, but now they have to turn around and go back home, and then life pivots. So health is wealth.
Yes.
If you're not feeling well, your quality of life could suffer,
Yes,
right?
it will suffer.
And if you're yeah, and if you're too rigid to pivot, life will suffer. Like
Yes.
you can't be so rigid in your plans that if something doesn't go your way, life is over.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right. Right. Yes, it is, because we had that planned. So I was glad nothing we're like, "Okay, how are we gonna get up? What are we gonna do once where do we need to go first to be close to them, to the Gatlinburg?" And we had
yeah.
already decided that it would be Huntsville, and this was before anything ever happened. So, rental cars are out there. We'll get us one and we'll get up there. But I think the lesson that I have learned in all this pivoting is it's okay. Because I mean,
Say it again. I love that exhausted look on your face, but the words of peace, like, okay.
right. I mean, it's okay that things have to change. There's a reason and a season for everything. And so I just have been taking it as it flowed. Like for example, we had to go to the FedEx store. I ordered something, and we've been getting our packages here at the UPS store on base, which is close, walking distance, less than a mile. I ordered something and it only delivers FedEx. The UPS store doesn't take FedEx.
Mm.
So I had to find the closest FedEx store to have it delivered to. And we were gonna Uber, but we decided to ride our bikes, and we ended up in this backwoods like field thing, but it was right behind the store and it worked out. And I could have got mad and I could have had an attitude, but why? What is that going to
Yeah.
do? Is that going to change the fact that I can't get a FedEx package here? No. I still can't get it here no matter how mad I get. So, just handling the pivot the best way you can to make it easier for yourself and your family. You just got to go with the flow sometimes. And I know it's well, I'm not gonna say it's easier said than done because it's even hard for me to say it, but we've been doing it and it's been working out.
And one of the things where you said, I'm laughing because it's so true. I think our go to response is just automatic anger.
Mhm.
It's the anger and the frustration. And when you could wrap your mind around the fact that life will happen regardless of how you feel about it, and you could change your approach of how you are getting to your pivot. I see. I'm learning to have the attitude that you have. So being in this lifestyle. I don't. I try not to live up in arms. Like when I was working 9 to 5, and I was dealing a lot with the general public and with bosses and all that kind of stuff, it was more difficult, right, to
Yes.
pivot because you have this routine, and any interruption to the routine, like the car breaking down, is detrimental, right?
Right.
Or like getting hurt and now you can't work, that could be detrimental because you have all these other things. And so figuring out the pivot could mean the loss of job, the loss of you. It's very stressful. But getting into this lifestyle, I've learned to just take it as it comes
Yes.
and kind of just swallow it and say it's okay. The stress of the everyday is still there, but it's not as heavy because I don't have as much to lose, which kind
Right.
of takes off a little bit of the stress.
Mhm.
And so, like you say, it's easier said than done for some people, but it's necessary because if you think about the health benefits of being able to let stuff go, it's beneficial to you in the long run, right? And
Yes.
it helps
Yes.
me think a little bit more clearly when I'm not angry.
Right. Yeah. You're less you're less you're less apt to make a decision that later may come back to bite you. You're less apt
Yeah.
to say things that later you feel bad about. And in the long run, what can you do about it?
And I'm not moving on emotions, right?
Right.
I'm thinking
Mhm.
level headed, where sometimes when you're stressed out, the go to response is emotional.
Mhm.
And then that's where you're wanting to you have to apologize and you have to come back and kind of figure it out, so you're kind of reliving the trauma twice.
Right.
So I give myself those few minutes to just think about it, right? And
Mhm.
figure it out with a level head and kind of take emotions out of it. Now I'm not saying that I don't have stressful days, and I'm not saying
Right.
that things sometimes don't feel out of whack. I'm just saying my approach to it has become very different than what it was before. And I can attribute that to days of sitting in my chair looking at the sunset, not feeling like I need to be somewhere and I got to do this and I got to do that. I attribute that to days where we can get up and go take a walk.
Yeah.
Stress relieving things that have now been incorporated into your everyday. Like you're gonna need a car eventually, but the
Yep.
stress relief is you get on your bike and it's therapeutic. Even though
Yes.
it's your mode of transportation, it's still a form of therapy as you're dealing with whatever it is you're dealing with. And
Right.
when you have a partner that you can do that with, it really does help you to say, we could, as long as we together, we could do it.
Right,
We're on the
exactly.
same
We
page.
keep cheering each other
Yeah,
on. It was like, especially when we got back, we were like high five each other. It's like we
yeah,
did it. We crossed some highways. We went through some back grass. We did all kinds of things. But coming back, it was easier because we found a different route. But I mean, that's part of if anyone's planning on going into this lifestyle, you have to be prepared because it's
yeah,
always something with the RV or with travel or with the campground or with work. It just seems to be always something. But like you said, it's not like it is when you're in a 9 to 5 and you got a home that you got a big mortgage on and you got such a routine.
yeah.
When something about just like getting out into the fresh air and letting it go
And
is so much
sometimes
better
like
than being stuck in a house and trying to let it go.
yeah. And especially when we're in Utah, my days consist of me sitting in a chair staring at the red sunset mountain. Just kind of letting.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
bit.
Yep.
That's why I'm not a big fan of being in the city, because there's not a whole lot, that gives you that stress release of being out in nature in different environments. And I
Right.
guess that's why my heart always yearns for the West, because I found a lot of peace out there that I just don't
Yes.
get on the East Coast. I just don't
Yes.
get it.
It's like a whole different we me and Mac talk about that all the time. It's like the East, as soon as you get to the East, it's like people are grinding and they're talking about grinding, and we didn't have any of those type of conversations in the West with anybody. Nobody was talking about grinding.
And nobody was going nowhere quick either. Everybody's
Mm-mm.
relaxing. I mean, not because they had like a retirement atmosphere. It was just because we had an appreciation for life,
Mhm.
right? You had an appreciation of the slowness of life, enjoying where you are. It was easy to be a tourist. Everything didn't take money. You could plan to go do something. It's just a different way of life.
Yes.
Now I get back on the East Coast, and so my family's here.
Mhm.
And I love my family, but my family's here. And when you're close by, their problems become your problems. And when you're out there, they feel like there's nothing you could do about their problem. So they don't burden you as much with their problem. So as much as I love my kids and I love my mom and my sisters and all, my family, when things come up, they kind of add you into the equation, and that
Yes.
can be stressful, right? It could
Yes.
be a little stressful being around family. And my family is not they're not dramatic type of people, right? They're not people that keep up drama and stuff like that. But my boys are people that have these minor emergencies, right? That
Mhm.
they involve you with. But when I'm not around, they're more like, "Mom, don't worry about it. You're not even here." You know,
Right.
and so it doesn't stress me as much, because as their mother, I want to help them fix it. And
Right.
so they involve you and you involve yourself. And but I've learned to step back and in my lane and kind of enjoy what I have going on. And so I'm excited for the opportunity that was presented to me here in Ohio. But I am more than ready to step foot back out in the West. I just am. It has my heart. If I ever stopped RVing, that's where it would be, you know. And when I say stop RVing, I don't mean move out of it. I just mean not moving as much. If I was going to
Right.
set up a homestead, it would be there. And so I'm pivoting my attitude as well, right?
Good.
I am finding some happiness in the everyday, regardless thereof. Because it was easier to kind of be upset that you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And then I had to pivot and say, you know what? I can still be happy sitting still. We're gonna go anytime. I told my husband, I was like, we gotta be more spontaneous, and we keep planning to do stuff. We gonna plan it to death, and we ain't gonna go anywhere. So we just decided we're just gonna just get up, and on the weekends we're just gonna have these little excursions and go and do things. And I'm just encouraging other people to stop taking life so serious. Do what you can. After 5 o'clock, let it go. There's nothing else you can do about it. It's after business hours. And find some little ways to release the everyday stress, even if it's just sitting by the fire in the backyard with your feet up in your chair with some silence. I'm
Yes.
telling you, that is therapy.
And it'll bring clarity. It'll bring
Yeah.
clarity to all that's causing you to pivot. When you just get quiet with it, it changes. And you start realizing, okay, now I understand. Well, I don't understand why this is happening, but I can manage it better when you get
Yep.
quiet about it. Like I've been able to blog more consistently. I've been able to make sure that our newsletter goes out on Sundays. I've been able to read, and I am not a reader, but I did start reading because, you know, no transpo, so we're not ripping and running and doing a whole bunch of excursions. We've been riding our bike. There's miles and miles and miles of trails here on the base, so that's a good thing. And they're all covered with shade, which makes it even better because it's really been hot here.
Yeah.
So it's like you just change what you thought you were gonna do. You just change it to something else and appreciate that you actually can do something else because there's somebody out there that wish they could that can't.
And give yourself a break. Give yourself
Yes.
a break, the space to be yourself, you know? And so I think sometimes I would ride myself, like if I couldn't, I had these expectations of me. And if I missed it just by this much, I'm riding me more than anybody else is. Give yourself a break, right? Just
Yes.
get off your own back. and
Right.
and
So
just give yourself a break.
my saying is if no life was lost, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And you that gives you the opportunity to try again. And so
Mhm.
we got 6 people watching. I know people keep filtering in and out. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and jump in the chat if you have questions
Yeah.
for us, because
Yeah.
we both have been our full-time RVing for quite some time now, right? And so
Yeah.
we have a few tricks of the trade that we are more than willing to share with you guys. And
Yes.
since I've been here for the last year, and you mentioned about blogging more consistently, I was able to develop a time management program that I'm going to be offering as a class that I sell online. And so,
Nice.
yes, and so I'm really excited about that, and just trying to pivot and find other ways of income streams other than, trying to find the next job that we got to jump to another KOA or another campground, because people are doing that now. Like, even though we're like, I would say, like in the middle of summer,
Mhm.
now's the time when you start looking for jobs for fall,
Right.
because especially up here in the east northeast, campgrounds are usually closing after Labor Day.
Right.
Because it gets cold and the kids are going back to school. People are not doing that as much. They might give one little hoopla, try to celebrate a little bit of Halloween in October, the beginning of October, but for
Right.
the most part, they start to close. And so a lot of people start looking for where they're going to go for the winter. And so it's one of those situations where I'm like trying to find another way to be able to make sure that we can, that we have something else. And so I came up with a time management program, and it has like, it's not a workbook, but it's more like handout sheets that go along with it. And it's to kind of
Nice.
help people identify how better ways to live more efficiently and manage their time by looking at things that waste your time.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
so I'm excited about that. And I know that just like for our broadcast here, you were like, "Hey, send me the information," and that was last week. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm on it."
And
And then I sent it to you when yesterday. So
it's
the
okay. We're
the
here.
plate
We
has
have
been
6
kind of
people that
full.
joined us. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I
And those that don't catch it live, let us know that you caught it on the recording. But I want to tell
yeah,
you
yeah,
something.
and leave
Ohio.
us some questions.
Yeah.
RV, or not even as an RV, or just wanting to know some tips of things we've learned how to pivot.
Mhm.
Say it.
Mhm.
Put it in the chat. You can drop us a message in the comments below, and I can let Christian know if it's for her. You can address it for her or for me or just for both of us. It doesn't matter. We are doing this podcast because we have information that we want to share with you guys, that we want it to be helpful. Sometimes
Yes.
I think one of the things that when you're going through stuff, the devil makes you feel like you're the only one experiencing it, right? Like
Right.
you're the only one dealing with it. And so this is our podcast is like therapy a little
Yeah.
bit, to let you know, okay, these are the things that both of us are dealing with. We're both RVers. We're in different places, but we have similar things happening. And if you're going through it as well, let's talk about it. Let's kind of hash it out, give you some ideas. You can give us like if you something you do. I was able to build here on YouTube is that it's a sharing community and everybody's super respectful. And when you come here, we want you to leave with a little nugget for your arsenal to be able to just navigate life.
Exactly.
Not because we have all the answers, but because we have an answer.
Right. And I want to tell you,
Yeah.
Ohio is a beautiful place to be in the summer.
Well, I'm figuring that out. And that's another thing. Okay. So you gave me that great campground in Michigan. So if you know of any other places in Ohio that's not too far from the Cleveland, Toledo area,
I
let me know
do.
and
I
I'll go check it
do.
out. Because I would love to see some state parks, and I'm a fearful of the heights as far as hiking is
Yeah.
concerned, especially since I need to get me maybe some hiking boots, maybe if I can get something that gives my ankles some support.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be looking for a pair. I was gonna go to REI, but the nearest one is like 60 miles from here.
So there is
So
a campground. I can't think of the name of it right now. Mr. Womack, if you can share the name of the campground that's in northern Ohio, this is right on Lake Erie. It's just outside of
ooh,
Sandusky. It is a military, but you
is
can
it
still get
East
on
Harbor?
there. No, it is.
Okay,
He'll type it in for us because you don't
okay,
have to be
okay.
military to get on it. But it also has cabins. But it sits right on the
Oh,
water, and the spaces are nice. The people are nice. There's not a whole lot there, but around there, there's things to do. There's a small community, and Catawba Island is not
okay.
far, so you could drive
That's not
over
far. I
to the.
know where that is. I saw it.
Okay, so it's not far from Catawba, but it
Okay,
sits right
okay.
on the water. So when he finds it, he'll we'll share it, and if it's later, we'll come back and share it on this feed so other people can. Camp Perry,
Camp Perry. Okay.
yeah,
I'll have to write that down. Camp Perry.
yeah,
Now,
it's
have you
pretty.
been to what is it? Traverse in Michigan?
No,
Traverse? It's a city. I might be saying it wrong. I'm not above it.
Traverse
It
City,
was
is it
everybody keeps
Traverse
asking me,
City?
have we maybe.
No, I've
Yes.
I've heard
Yes,
of
I
it,
think
but
that
I've
is.
never been there.
And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, it's so beautiful. You got to get up there." Last Friday just passed, I went and got my passport because I needed it for the trip. But Cedric's going to get his, and we're wanting to go up to Niagara Falls while we're here, and we want to go on the Canadian side.
Yeah,
So we were trying to get our passports for that. So this would be our first time together officially out of the U.S. if we can make it over to the Canadian side. So I know
okay.
we got that plan and in the works. And so we're just trying to, take off and go some different places and check out some stuff. There's this one place here that looks like it's a castle. It's like it's one of those state park places, but it has like it's a resort, but it's got a castle, and you could
Hmm,
stay there.
wow. Right, right. Mhm. Okay.
Have a campground. And I thought that was the coolest thing, and I would love to go there and just check it out. So I'm pivoting my summer plans where I'm not canceling them. I'm just altering what they look like and checking out stuff that's around me and kind of getting the feel of the area and exploring because I love to explore new things. And I'm not from here, so everything can be an adventure.
Have you ever seen that movie Shawshank Redemption?
I've heard of it.
So it's towards Columbus where it was shot, and they a lot of times in the summer do a festival. I don't know if they're going to this year, but that's down towards Columbus, and then there's a park there's quite a few parks in Columbus, Ohio as well, and then there's Hocking Hills, but I don't think that would be good for you because that's like a great place to hike and go see waterfalls and stuff. so that might not be good for you right now. But look at different parks, and have you gone to the Columbus area yet?
No, we have not gone. We haven't gone down south since we came that
So
way.
yeah, check out some parks in Columbus, and if I can think of I can't think of nothing. I guess I need to eat. If, uh, I think there's one down towards Columbus, not too far outside of Ashland, that has some waterfalls. Hocking Hills definitely has waterfalls, but yeah, look at that Columbus. Yeah, Hocking Hills is beautiful. Yeah. And then
Of
go
our
up to
chat.
Cleveland to the Rock and
Um,
Roll Hall of Fame, to some good food, to Edgewater Park.
I want to go up there. Cedric is like, we went there once and it was dead because of the time we went, and he was like, "Oh, there's nothing here," and I'm like, "We gotta go
Yeah.
back." We had the kids with us. We just walked around downtown for a few minutes and got in the car and left. So we didn't really give it a fair
Yeah,
chance.
gotta go during
So
like a
I
festival
definitely
or
would like to go
something.
back there and kind of just see it.
Yeah, because they have the house where that famous Christmas movie was made, that's there.
Which one?
Um, where the guy stuck his tongue on the pole, The Christmas Story.
Oh, the Christmas
Oh,
story.
yeah, they have that
Okay.
house there, so that's like a touristy thing, and then that town that it's in, it's part of Cleveland, there's great food options over there, lots of food options and nice parks over in that area too. So you got a lot of Ohio options. Don't count yourself as stuck there in Ohio because you're not. There's a lot to do. You just got to find it.
Just a change of scenery, and be able to get out and kind of just go where I want to go and then come back. That was the one thing that I'm not willing to pivot back to, is the 9 to 5. And I feel myself getting caught up in the rat race because right now I'm currently holding down two jobs and I'm doing like little side things too. So it's getting to the point to where I'm always wondering, where am I supposed to be today and what am I supposed to be doing? And it's giving me that 9 to 5 vibe, and I'm just not interested in that because I didn't get into this to go back to that. So
Right.
I'm wanting to find some balance to where I can still do what I love to do,
Hmm.
and what I love to do can fund what I love to do. And so right
Exactly.
now, um, I'm just trying to figure out some ways to get better. I'm hoping maybe I can go get a second opinion on my foot because the first doctor was like, "Hey, maybe some physical therapy," and the second one was like, "Nope, you're gonna need surgery." And so he
But do
was a
one more.
surgeon, and most, to a carpenter, everything looks like, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So
Yep.
for a surgeon, everything looks like, okay, surgery. So I'd like somebody else to kind of take a look at it and get a second opinion and be like, unequivocally, that's what you need is surgery, versus somebody saying, no, you just need to do this, this, and it's a physical therapy, and we could put you on this, and then see if that helps, versus, nope, we got to cut you open, put a plate here, put a plate there, and 3 months of recovery. It's like, yeah, I just wasn't expecting that.
That
It's
was
just
a
it's just
bad fall.
it was, and I knew it was the second I hit the ground. I heard something go pop, and I told them that, and they were like, "No, it's just a nasty spring." And the guy was like, and I was like, because I had to go back. I was like, I'm just not getting any better. This, my leg is swollen. My actual leg is swole up, and I'm just not getting any better. And that's when they discovered the additional injury that I had. And so I am just thankful. I am just finding ways to stay thankful when I'm disappointed. It's
Yes.
like, I tell Cedric, I'm like, I feel like I'm never gonna be normal again. Our walks are shorter. He's like, now we can't go, do this because I don't want you to be. Because see, when I do too much on it, the rest of the night I'm paying for it.
And
I'm
you're
just
probably making the injury worse. So,
well, how do you not walk? I mean, it's like I don't it's just and then I started feeling myself slipping into a little bit of a depression. So I was like, you know what? We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
mm-mm,
It's okay. We're just gonna find another way to live life and be happy until we can take the next step.
right,
And I had to pivot in my mindset. So pivoting is not also plans. It's how you think too. You gotta like be able to
yes,
alter our plans. Yeah, we can't take on these strenuous hikes, but we just take a bunch of small walks every day. Every
hmm
weekend, go, a mile where it's you're halfway there, halfway back, and see something awesome, and still have a life. Take the ibuprofen, before you go. Do some preventionary methods. Know your limitations, and just go. I had to kind of change the way I thought. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I was hiking 8 miles before this,
right,
but I could if I wanted to. Like,
right,
you had the option to move around the way you wanted to. And so, and another thing that I've been trying to motivate myself to do is to lose a little weight because I know my weight on my foot cannot help. I mean, I know
right.
it's not
No,
healthy.
right, and your
And so,
knees.
yeah, and I was took some inspiration from you guys and I went looking for some weights and I was like, oh, weights are expensive.
Yeah, go on marketplace and garage sales and that type of thing. Don't buy them
So
new.
I was trying to find me some weights.
Or just get 2 gallons of water. Just get some water jugs and fill them. Does it matter? Does it matter? Do you do you wanna get stronger or do you wanna try to look cute? No, no. P no, that's not true. See, that's the self-talk that we have to stop because ain't nobody paying no attention to you for real.
Like that. But okay, when you're the only black person in the RV park, people pay attention whether you want them to or not. You are never alone, okay? Let me tell you that up front. Somebody is always
I
wanting to
feel
come over
like
and say something to
somebody's
you.
watching me. I get no privacy.
they they want to talk to you. They want to know how you got started. So you see
Yeah.
you out here picking up water jugs. They like, oh right.
Okay.
It
So
all makes sense now.
is what they think more important than your health.
No, of course not.
Okay. Okay.
But I also have changed up my diet. So I
Okay.
have, started eating instead of, having a bag of chips, I got some celery and carrot sticks. And I've been trying to, just eat that for like my little snack. And I'm packing my lunch instead of stopping to get something for lunch. And eating dinner a lot earlier and doing some meal prep. So if I know I'm going
Mhm.
to 9:50 and the sun's just going down, and you're like, I got to get up in the morning.
I have no problem with that. I'm trying not to go to
Oh,
bed at 6 o'clock. I'm trying because we get up really early. We are officially old. We get up really early, but you could get so much done in the morning and just
yes. For me, by 10 o'clock, the day is over.
the peace of the morning, the peace that the morning brings,
I'm
it's
up by
just
6.
wonderful. Yeah, us
By
too.
6 o'clock, I'm up. And if I haven't got started by 10 o'clock, the day is just shot.
Yeah. Yep.
But I find myself like I'm getting off and I'm moving about, and the sun just sets so late, and it helps you. It's easy to lose track of time that way.
Yeah, it
And
is.
so I'm pivoting constantly. And with the name of my channel, Finding Erica, I think I'm doing just that. I'm finding out a lot of things about myself, and I'm finding new ways to deal with me and to help me cope with my own personal stressors. And I'm
Mhm.
finding ways to be happy in the skin that I'm in, because I always had a critical thought of myself being kind of,
Mhm. Yep.
that
Mhm. It really is. We're so hard on ourselves. Yes. Yeah, I yes.
just we get to the card draw. I I enjoy it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it so much. And I'm learning that wherever I am, I can be happy.
And you're at home. Wherever you are, you're at
Yes.
everywhere you are
Yes.
is home.
And we were laying watching one of our old videos from when we were in Nevada last night. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, we are literally sleeping in an RV. Because we spent years watching other people on TV in their RV. And it just, you have those little moments like, we arrived. We
Yeah.
did it. We
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
We're them, you know?
Yes. And they're going
And
through the same stuff. They're just may not
yes,
be
and
sharing it, but believe you me, they're pivoting because that's just part of the life. Mhm. Yeah. Oh, good. Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Yes.
to your worth and say, I admire the fact that you're a smart woman and that you do, you know,
Right.
have cheerleaders in your corner that are true cheerleaders. And sometimes you have to pivot from people who don't mean you any good. Even though they
Yes.
act like they do, they really don't. And
And that's
that's a change
hard.
of yeah, that's a change of life as well. So pivot comes not just in RV form, it comes in life form.
Yes.
And
And it's
and
gonna
and and even
continue
though
to
our
come.
house moves, we still have to pivot in many different ways.
Yes. Yes. And having my friend Erica helps.
Yeah, it does
Yeah,
sometimes too,
it
too,
does.
when she ain't crazy.
Well, you're not alone. You're not alone. You silly. I just appreciate you, and I love doing this, so Hopefully, there's not too much pivoting going on in June where we can.
Mm,
I mean, July. I can't believe we're going into the seventh month of the
that's what I
year. It's
told
going
you.
to
I'm
be
like,
time
we're
to do
almost done with
taxes
the
again.
summer. I was sitting here thinking about the ladies. I said, I gotta stop. So when you get one thing, you gotta give something
Yes.
away. So I'm forever buying stuff. So I think this August I'm gonna go with the buffalo plaid and burnt
Okay.
orange. So that'll be our fall, and then I'll just switch out the burnt orange for like a red or a green, and that'll be
Okay.
Christmas. But we'll keep the buffalo plaid throughout because that's that season. So that way I'm not trying to keep because I like things festive. I like because it's home and you like festive things at home. I got
Hmm.
a Christmas tree that we got no place to put, but I still stick it in front of the fridge.
See, and you have a lot more room than I do, so I have very
Not by
limited
much.
room.
Not by much.
How
Every time
long
you
is
want to
your
get in the
RV?
fridge, you gotta scoot the tree over.
How many feet is your RV?
It is 25 feet.
Okay, ours is 24, so you're right.
Yeah,
You're not.
and but it's choppy, and I like that. So the kitchen living room combo in the front, and then we have like a mini hallway where the bathroom's off to the left, and then the back bedroom.
Oh, I'm in every room right now. I'm
Yeah.
in I'm in the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, and almost the bathroom. If the
and
bathroom
I'm
didn't have a door, I'd be in there too.
sitting right next to the toilet.
Yep.
And
But
I
I
think the
love it.
one
I wouldn't
thing that
trade it.
yeah, the one thing I would like to have is an office space. I've been crying that from the mountaintop because, I have my laptop, I have my computer, I have my iPad. I have stuff that I do for my graphic design business, stuff I do because I started running different people's social media accounts, like creating posts for their social media.
Nice.
So I have stuff that I have to keep up with, and I'm moving, and it'd be nice to not have to pack it all up and take it down. Every time I'm finished, and then when I want to use it, I got to pull it all out and put up my collapsible desk, and then replug everything in, and go from there. Yeah, Travel Junkie said office space would be great. Yep, I would definitely prefer to have that, just so I could go sit down and work, and when I'm done, push the chair under and walk off.
Yeah,
So
we saw a Class A that had like a closet, but it was really an office, and it had like a
really,
desk, and it was nice. It had a keyboard tray, it had shelves, and it was like in the back, and it was small, but you could still
yeah,
close the door and fit in there and do your work. But
that sounds amazing.
yeah, it looked amazing. I sit right here in my recliner with my lap tray and do my work, and then I put it down. So my lap tray is my office and my dining room table because we took our booth out because it was so uncomfortable and put in recliners, and then we just use lap trays to eat on. Yeah,
At my office space, and we still have a place to sit and
yeah.
relax. Now, I have a laptop, but sometimes I need to see stuff on the big screen.
Mm.
Like I need to go
Hmm.
mirror it, but I need my actual computer when I'm doing anything design wise because I need to be able to see it
Oh,
big to see
so I don't know what
mistakes
that
and
cord is
stuff like that.
called, but it allows me to hook up my laptop to the TV so I can see.
Probably the was it the HDMI
It
cord?
probably is. But
Yeah.
when I used to work in this one program, I needed it to be bigger. So I found that really helped was to hook it up to the
Yeah.
TV
I
so I
used
could
to have
see.
two monitors. I used to have two monitors so I could slide stuff from one. I could work on both of them at the same time. And then I broke the monitor. I stuck it in a spot, and then I forgot to take it out when we were traveling. And when I went to go pick it up, the screen had a crack across it. So I just
Mm,
didn't replace it. But I digress. It's another pivot.
yes.
So
Oh, there's so many.
yes, and Going down the list would make this video way too long.
Yes, it would.
But we want
Yep.
and joining us for our little podcast here. What we're going to be talking about next time, we don't know yet. But when we know,
You'll
you'll know.
know.
We'll bring it to you. And we promise that it won't take.
Mhm. Yes.
We will hopefully be back on schedule. And we're going to have to move from Thursday. You guys, we love your thoughts. We love your questions. If you want to drop it at the bottom, if you want to subscribe, give them your channel so they can go over and check out your journeys.
Move, MOVE, with WITH, Mac, MACK. And that's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And another thing, without the transportation, I've been able to do some more YouTube videos. So
Look at
yeah,
you.
I've been
You've
kind of
been
trying to do
busy.
some things. Yes, and it feels good because last summer we did all those adventures and I did all this footage. But then I was like, okay, you need to stop and enjoy this. So I stopped videoing so much and just enjoyed it. So now I'm
Yes.
doing more like day in the life videos and people seem to like those. So that's the direction I'm headed now.
Now, wait a minute now. See, now you're morphing into a whole nother conversation. I got questions. You're, you're doing a day in the life?
Yeah, we're doing a
Is
more
it
day in.
every day now?
So I'm doing a little bit of snippets each day, like things that we're doing, what we're doing, where we're going once we get there. And it's just, like I have one I need to put up. It was when we left um, Patrick Air Force Base, Cocoa Beach, our journey to Jacksonville, and a little bit of what's going on there. So that one's ready. I'm going to say I am going to have it up by this Friday. And then I have one from here and the different things that we're doing here. And I think for me, that's more comfortable. And when I look at my analytics, that's one of our most watched videos is the day in the life. So people really want to see what you're doing. They like the journeys and stuff, but I think they like the real deal. I don't know. Maybe I'm just guessing. What do you think, Travel Junkie? Are you still here? Uh-oh, she froze on me. Okay, so that's going to be a wrap. I just got a text from Erica and we got to pivot because her phone overheated. So thank you so much, y'all, for joining us. We appreciate you. And let us know if you have any questions. Place them here underneath this video and we will get back to you. Thanks, y'all.